How are you today, Bree?
I'm good. I'm good. I had a Zoom with 3 of my best friends
Yes.
from college. So they live in New York, Chicago, and Indiana.
Very good.
And we have not seen each other as a group since way before COVID.
Wow.
Like we've seen each other individually, but not, together. I think it was a baby shower or something.
All right. So did you make plans to get together?
We did.
Yay.
So that was like needed.
That sounds great. Good morning, Craig. Craig's
Hello.
muted and invisible.
Yeah, I'm in Lowe's right now. I'm trying to pick up some stuff. So I'm spending money, right?
Yeah.
You're what, Craig?
I'm spending money. I'm in Lowe's.
Oh.
Now, is that for the missus? You're buying her a new drill set?
Maybe I will pick up myself something in honor of her.
Maybe.
In honor of her. Gotcha.
Yeah. Since my birthday is Thursday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
You.
My aunt's birthday is on Christmas. And
hello.
Yeah. And her parents named her Merry Christmas.
Oh wow.
So nice. Her middle name is Christmas. Her first name, Mary, is spelled like Merry Christmas.
Okay.
So we're doing a card blitz. She's actually turning 85 this year.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know how
nice.
you guys, do you have good news to share for us? Bree just shared that she had met up on a Zoom call with 3 of her other best friends from all over.
Thank you. Yeah,
you're out shopping.
Yeah, well, I do have a little good news. So yesterday I have a closing that's coming around the end of the month, the 30th. Mm-hmm. And so my buyer, I guess he was getting cold feet. The lender needed some more information, and he didn't want to give it to him.
Oh, geez.
And so underwriting needed this information, and he's going on and on about it was some account that only him and someone else knows about, and he's gonna take it to his grave and all this. So anyway, long story short, after I told him that he was gonna lose his $10,000 down payment from new construction, DRB Homes, it kind of changed his tune. So he was like, "No, I won't." And I was like, "Oh, yes, sir, you will." And they don't mind keeping it. And so yesterday evening, got the call that he was back on. So we should be closing that. And then also, I had a call yesterday from a on-site rep for Mungo Homes. She has a unrepresented buyer.
Nice.
And she asked me if I wanted to help him. And I was like, absolutely, I do. So and they're ready to close in about 30 days. So they're ready to go. I already picked the home out and everything.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I have this morning, and I guess somewhat over this time period, because holidays are always different for everybody, you know. And I don't know even whether you celebrate them or not. I was actually, Gina's not on. She's getting her family and spending the day tromping around in the Disney area, but not at the parks. So she went and picked up her daughter and her granddaughter, and they're doing, I forgot what she called it, something like, it's not quite window shopping, but they're hanging around the Disney area and looking at house decorations and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And at one of the hotels, they have this lake that has all the beach sand and everything else, so it kind of looks like you're at the ocean. So they're going to go spend some time there, and Gina's real excited. So she gets to spend time, and since her daughter's there, if she gets tired, she can sit down and rest, and everybody else can run around or whatever. So that was pretty cool. But what I found myself thinking about this morning, because I have issues, I guess. Christmas is so commercialized, it drives me insane. And a few years ago, I had tried to get my family to, let's not do Christmas presents, let's not do birthday presents anymore. Let's set the money aside and plan a trip. And I sort of got blown out of the water. My grandson was sort of open to it. But the problem is, because we don't have a great deal of money, any of us, that trying to do something, and even though I tried to stress, it doesn't matter how big a trip it is. You know, it doesn't have to be anything, but they said it's thousands of dollars and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I don't know where it'll end up with, but that's a goal in a way. And so along those same themes, the last couple of days, I've been thinking about stuff like, maybe I should take the approach of, we have to buy something recycled. You know, we can't go out and buy new stuff, and we have to put a limit on it. And we have to, you still, for me and my daughter too, we always try to think about the person and what that gift would be for them. It's not just like, it drives us crazy if we have to go like get an Amazon card or something. We like it to be more personal. And so it might be a challenge to try to think of something along those lines and make it a little more fun.
In my religion, our kind of Christmas sort of is in February, the last week of February, and it's called a Yamiha. And it's more along the lines of Hanukkah, because it's like several days long. And you're supposed to give gifts, something that you have that means something to someone else.
Oh, interesting.
You can buy stuff, but it's supposed to be of meaning, you know, like a book or like just something. It could be a plushie or whatever. But the focus is on the intent.
Nice.
And, you know, so that's really neat. I celebrate Christmas as well, but in my religion, a Yamiha is the...
Yeah. So what is your religion?
It's called Baha'i. And it's a Persian-based religion.
Okay.
And in a nutshell, I mean, they're different tenets, but in a nutshell, we believe that we believe in all the religions, and of the major religions, we believe the prophets that come from the same God.
Gotcha.
So depending on the needs of Earth, the people on Earth, what message they needed to hear, and what area could receive it, that's who he sent. So he sent Abraham down. He sent, Moses. He sent Krishna, Jesus. And the thing that throws Southerners out, like, they're like, well, do you believe in Jesus Christ? I'm like, actually, I do. They're like, oh.
Yeah. So that's interesting, because I was just looking at a book on Amazon this morning, Audible, I mean. And I forget the title of the book, but it basically is talking about similarly the same things, about how all religions are connected. Yeah, so I think you just gave me some confirmation to go ahead and get that book.
Yeah. So when I was going through my period of exploration, spirituality, I was looking for something, like I was looking something along the lines of Hindu and Buddhism. And the more I got exposed to the different religions, I was like, the more similarities I found.
Yeah.
And then found this one. For me, it just connected all the pieces.
Gotcha.
So, and we don't have ministers. We don't have clergy. So everybody is responsible for finding out for themselves and not just listening. Like you can get guidance from other people. So we have a spiritual assembly that is the administrative part of, you know, like the Baha'i Center, and, you know, and we only do tithing within. So we don't accept any tithing from outside because we don't want people to feel, we don't pass the plate. So we don't want people that come as guests, you know, like it's our responsibility to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
But we give a lot to the community, you know, so just, but not to go down a rabbit hole, but whatever when you explore, it's just beautiful, you know, whatever you, wherever you end up, whether it's Hindu, Buddhism, Christianity, you know.
Yeah, because I'm not in a part of any religion now. I grew up Jehovah's Witness and
oh wow,
Christian and Christian. My dad's Methodist. My mom's Jehovah's Witness.
Oh,
yeah. So like the thing about it though is I tell people growing up, my parents never argued about religion.
Sure.
You know, and they've been married 50 plus years. And I saw that, you know, they were saying the same thing, but
doing it differently, going about it differently.
Yeah, and people made it different, you know.
Right.
It was the people that, you know, just separated. But anyway, religion never really seeing that, you know, growing up, it never really made sense to me. How people were so divided because of it.
Right.
And it's the people. It's the people. It's not the spirituality.
Absolutely.
You know, it's the people.
Yeah. So, you know, after I got married, my wife, she's in church, and, you know, so I went back to church, but it was always something missing. And, you know, they were grooming me to be a preacher and, you know, all of that stuff. And for me, it was just something was not right. And I started studying and reading and exploring on my own. And I found out, I was like, man, this is such bullshit. Like, you know, what it's like they were teaching separation. You know, it wasn't unified.
Right.
And you know, from being from down south, I heard one guy say Sunday is the most segregated day of the week because, you know, you had a black church and a white church. And, you know, I was like, that it just didn't make sense. So I started studying everything. You know, it led me down my rabbit hole. And
I started studying because, like, growing up in the South, people were like, well, not only if you're not Christian, but if you're not a certain denomination, you're going to hell.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, it was like, if you're not Baptist, it wasn't even like if you were Jewish versus Christian. It was like, if you're Baptist versus Catholic. And I was like, one, we're the same religion. And two, this is my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, and the thought maybe, you know, so I love different religions. Like I love the spirituality. I love Christianity. Like the Old Testament's amazing. The New Testament's amazing. And I think when people really dig down and want to see the commonality, there's some really amazing things about all of them. And no matter if you stay a Christian, you can still respect the other religions when you know, like Islam is the Quran is just amazing. And when people talk, you know, people have made it divided.
Absolutely.
Like even within the same religion, just like Christianity, people within Christianity, but then the outside that looks at it, you know, the world goes through phases. There were times where the Christians were the bad guys.
Yeah.
During the days of the conquistadors in Europe. You know, and people like to ignore history.
Mm-hmm.
Now that part you can't deny, you know, like, so.
But anyway. I found too that, you know, I was studying on my own and researching, and I knew more than the pastors, you know, and they would be preaching. By the time I had reached the end of that journey of going to church, you know, I would be listening to the pastor and I'd be like, that's not correct. You know, where did you get that from? You know, and I wouldn't say anything, but I'm just saying in my mind, like, that is not correct. And finally, I just couldn't sit there no more. So right now, I guess I'm more based into African spirituality.
A Native American, you should look into Native American spirituality.
I have been. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Is.
And my favorite book in the New Testament is Ecclesiastes. Job was savage.
Yeah.
And that's why you liked him best, huh?
That's why I liked it best.
So
I'm sorry, can I stop you just for a second, Craig?
Sure.
Okay. First, hello, PF, Pedro, welcome. I don't know if this is not our normal. And I mean, we don't typically talk all about religions. And I started this, I have to admit, because Ava's sitting in Gina's spot, just monitoring and letting people in and recording and good stuff like that. But I had asked about their Christmas, what her holiday season looked like before people started coming on. So before Craig, you go further, I want to make sure that PF, you don't have something that you want to share or a problem that you need to have addressed, because that's what we're here for, to help one another. So if you don't mind, Craig, PF.
Sure.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you, Catherine. So Gina is under the knife this week?
No. She's just purely having fun.
Yeah,
she went and picked up her daughter and granddaughter yesterday, and they're just enjoying the holiday season. They're looking at lights and all the fun stuff. Hey.
Great. So we're still meeting this week, right?
As far as I know, yes. She didn't tell me anything about future days, really. I know that there is a plan to take a break, but I think it's
next week.
Yeah, I think it's next week.
Okay, great. And also, this is one of my favorite topics. I love talking about MSRP.
Okay.
Money, religious, sex, and politics. So it's right up my alley. So MSRP.
Okay.
Well, that's
funny. It's really funny. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know if you want to add something in because you haven't gotten an opportunity to speak or.
Oh, this is all good. Thank you.
Okay.
Very illuminated.
Right. I'm going to interject one thing before I let you go back, Craig. All of this brings up a thought for me, and that's when my daughter was, I don't know, 7th grade, somewhere around there, 7th, 8th grade. And my upbringing, like a lot of people, is varied. I've got Catholics on one side, which are always very strong and dominant, and I have more along Baptist on the other side. And I kind of take the viewpoint that Bree and Craig, and I don't know about you, PF, have, and that's that, you know, that we have one God. They may take different shapes, they may take different forms, but to me, that only makes sense. And it came up when my daughter was in, like I said, about 7th or 8th grade. She had a friend who was Lutheran, and she had a special thing. She was getting recognized for accomplishments up to a certain point of education in their religion, and invited us to come. And we did, and we went and we enjoyed, and helped her acknowledge that day that it was special for her. And then all of a sudden, halfway through, when she was off the stage and back in the pews, and all of a sudden I hear all this crying, and I'm going, okay. And later the day, my daughter said that Tiffany, that was her name, Tiffany's really upset because something that my daughter didn't believe in, whatever, or anyway, she was going to go to hell, and she was upset. My daughter's going to go to hell. And so I had a talk, right? I said, okay, honey, do you believe in God? Yeah. Do you believe God's good? Yeah. I said, okay, if there's a God and God's good, why would God punish anyone just because they're a certain religion? If they're doing good, or they're doing bad, or they're evil, or they're whatever, that's different. That's across the board, but why would they pick out just because you're a certain religion and make that the determining
reason
factor? The reason that you're going to go to hell. So it sort of brought up all of what you're talking about. I haven't done a lot of research, but I still have a lot of, my father was supposed to be a priest, I found out. I have several relatives on my mother's side that were either preachers or have a strong religious background, youth leaders, whatever. So it's interesting. But politics and religion, sex and money, I don't know. they're heated topics for sure.
I love
Absolutely.
MSRP. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I think retail,
Exactly.
So retail religion, retail politics, retail
anything.
Yeah. So Craig, when you figure out the book, let us know.
I will. So Bree, you were mentioning the Indian, Native American spirituality. So I have looked into some of that, and it's very similar to the African spirituality.
It is.
And so also when I was in church and I was headed down the route of preaching, like I said, and a lot of friends of mine, pastors now, we were going through at the same time. And I say that to say most of them now are still my friends. And they respect me a lot. I respect them a whole lot. And I love the people who, I like the religious fruit, not the religious nuts. And when I can,
that's a good one.
When you find those beautiful people, that it doesn't matter what religion or belief system that a person has, but it matters, who they are
and what they do with
they
it.
show you. Yeah. And man, it's beautiful. But the religious nuts, I don't get along well with them,
Yeah, I always had those issues too, where in fact, the aunt that's turning 85 on Christmas.
Mary.
Yes, Mary. She and I had many, many fireside chats over the years about this topic. One of the few people that I ever do have this conversation with, but because it drives me crazy. You go to church and everybody's holier than thou.
Mhm.
And you walk out the doors and you hear, did you see this? Da, da, da. Did you know?
Yeah.
Whatever. And it drives me insane. And my aunt's bottom line is that some people need churches more than others.
Mhm.
They're just people. And the fact that they're there and they're going just means that they need to have that reaffirmation, basically, more than a person who doesn't have to go to church to feel
Yeah.
spirituality. I get just as much looking out my window and seeing, except for the music. I like the music. But I mean, I see God in everything,
Yep.
and appreciate that. Just like I can see evil in different things too, you know.
Yep.
But
Your eyes aren't closed.
right.
They're open.
I try to be.
You are.
But yeah, so I, especially since having my mother here, I haven't been to church in quite a while, actually. Even though when she was here, I tried to take her. I do have a church technically, but it's just a little church, and it's a little stone church that I think is beautiful, but it's hard. So, but I'm thinking about it if they have service on Christmas.
Yeah.
Going somewhere. I haven't decided if
Cool.
I'm going to go to that church or somewhere else, but I am thinking about it. So that's kind of what it is. When you stop chewing and if anybody wants to share how they celebrate the holidays, what that means, since we're, it's actually 9 o'clock now. So you have to decide if you want to continue or if we're going to go. But if anybody wants to share how they celebrate.
Well, I grew up Catholic. I was an altar boy when I was a little kid.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And my favorite memories is me walking with my grandmother to church. I was the one who went to church with her. All the other kids, they were like, whatever, So I always found a reason to not be around when she said, I'm ready to go to church. And now I am a Buddhist.
Oh, neat.
A while ago, I wanted to celebrate all the holidays, so I've got myself a menorah. But I haven't gotten myself together to celebrate all the different holidays. I was even trying to learn about the Hajj and all the other stuff that happens around this time in the year of the year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's still one of my life goals to embrace others and create a space that my friends can come over and celebrate their holiday with me and feel appreciated and acknowledged.
Yeah.
Because, if you focus on the good things, and like you, Catherine, I hate the fact that Christmas is so commercialized. A few years ago, I started calling it the wealth transfer season.
Wealth transfer season. I like it.
Yep.
And actually, with that, when I was talking about some of the things that I want to have with that, buying something that maybe is a used present or something, I also thought about caps. You couldn't get anything if you couldn't pay cash for it, you shouldn't have it. You don't feel the need to do it because of the same exact reason. I'm sorry for cutting you off, PF.
No, it's all good. This is a long topic. It's 4 things. MSRP, we're touching on the big one. Religion, that's huge.
It is.
Normally, we usually talk about money, which is kind of like wealth determiners.
Yeah.
But they go hand in hand. And This year, I'm not celebrating much. I put 2 wreaths in front of my front doors. I live in a triple decker, so there are 2 doors to come in. And normally I would have 3 Christmas trees, and I didn't set them up because there's too much work. And this year I was like, nobody's coming. You know, the last couple of years, no one came because of COVID.
Yeah.
And the year before that, everybody had a bigger party and more exciting place to go. So for like 3 years now, it's like, so
Yeah.
next year maybe.